Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Tamara Barringer and Howard Lee. In 2018, a poll showed that 74% of those surveyed supported bail reform. 73% wanted to limit the length of time a defendant not accused of a serious violent crime could be held because they were unable to pay bail. Is it time for North Carolina to reform our bail laws? And if so, what recommendations would you make, Tamara?
Well, I think that this argument's misplaced. When I was chair of the Judiciary Committee for the North Carolina Senate, I discovered that our criminal code is out of whack. For example, there are laws that punish a criminal with less when they do something to a child than they do something to an adult. We really need to take a hard look at our criminal laws. It's not about the bail, it's about the criminal laws. We've got to have the crime needs to, or the penalty should suit the crime, and the crime should suit the penalty. That's where our direction should be. That's where we should be.
I hear that and agree with you totally, and there have been discussions about trying to attempt that, but specifically regarding bail.
As I said, I think that we should focus that energy on the criminal and the crime, not on the bail. I think that's an easy fix. It might feel good, but that's not the point. The point is we have so many laws where that the punishment doesn't fit the crime, and that's where I really think the attention should lie.
Howard, your concepts of this, in a lot of instances, the people who are unable to make the bail are people of color.
Well, no question about it, and I think it has long been a problem for trying to ensure that people don't get hurt more because of the inability to make bail. I remember when I was mayor, we used to have a lot of people who would have spats on the weekend with their spouse and get pulled into the police station and then had to make bail in order to get out if they had it, and if they didn't, they couldn't go to work on Monday and they lost the job, and the whole family situation began to spiral down. What I did is not only come up with a plan to make bail affordable, but I added a social worker to the police department staff. And that social worker could decide if the person could be released on his or her own recognizant, go home, go to work, and then come back at a proper time. And then the social worker would keep tabs on that individual, make sure they showed up for court. I think we have to be more creative than we are, because I do think in the final analysis, bail can be a real deal breaker for a lot of folk, especially if economically it starts to impact their lives.
There's a national movement on this bail reform that's taking place, and a lot of instances being cited where it has been, as you have said, a very restrictive and very punitive kind of thing for people who probably were not risks of flight so far as court dates were concerned. There are also other sides to it, and it's part of the criminal justice reform, but you got to start somewhere.
That's true, but as I said, the Courts Commission, which I serve on, is actually taking a hard look at this, but I just think the energy is misplaced. There are just so many of our criminal laws that are out of whack, and we really need to take a hard dive into those and make the punishment fit the crime.
We did some years ago in the legislature fair sentencing kinds of procedures.
We did. I think many of us through the years have been really concerned about the overall comprehensive criminal justice system. I do know the movement for reforming criminal justice is taking on a new life, and there are an awful lot of activity going on around this, and bail is a part of that. So I think in the final analysis, if people can redefine a lot of these incidents that impact people's lives, we're going to see a different outcome in many instances.
So we'll stay on this subject for a while. All right. Thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.